Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and I'm very excited to announce, or rather to share the announcement, that Cthulhu Quest, Volume 3, The Lost Legion of CTHULHU, and Volume 4, Shards of the Dead Stone, HeroQuest unofficial expansions by Anthony Hooper, are now available to order and play. I'll put a link in the description below where you can find these, and we'll give a short overview, revealing as few spoilers as possible, as we pick up where Quests 1 and 2 left off, or I should say Expansions 1 and 2. With a total of 4 books under his belt now, Tony Hooper brings H.P. Lovecraft and HeroQuest together in a marriage of madness and despair. Also in Book 3 is a new way to play the classic barbarian, new equipment for heroes to buy, new monsters for heroes to defeat, and a whole new magic-using class. I'll put a QR code here, and there will also be the typical reveal of the barcode. This is an Amazon KDP production, as evidenced by the barcode in the back. And we open Campaign 3 with a story. An opening, rather. We open with an opening. That's genius. You know what? I'll just keep it in. What am I doing if not inspiring others to also make mistakes, pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and continue on? We open with a lengthy quote from H.P. Lovecraft that we will not read out loud, because H.P. Lovecraft is long in the tooth. The important part here is that we have 8 adventures and new ways to play for the HeroQuest game system, and there is permission granted to copy cards, clues, and tiles found within for personal use. Given that that's the exact same license provided by any official version of HeroQuest to reproduce the maps and graphical elements, does that mean we're able to take the stuff, copy it, and then republish books to distribute on Amazon? Distinctions are important. You will need a copy of the base game, as well as miniatures and tiles from its expansions. In addition, to represent the new monsters found within, you will need a range of Roman legionnaires or armored knights, some with crossbows, some with double swords, others with spears, as well as swords and shields. You will also need tree models, preferably with bits of legionnaires in them. What? Tree models with bits of Are these legionnaires getting chopped up and growing out of trees? Give me links, man. Give me links. Although it can be played any time, Lost Legion of CTHULHU is set right before the events in Mage of the Mirror. The Elven Kingdom is at peace, but that time of peace is almost over. The southern islands are homes to beaches, beautiful seas, weather that is usually pleasant, and seafarers of all kinds. Some of those sailors tend to the more skull and crossbones style of shipping, which of course means there is a thriving underground market. Rogues, dwarves, and treasure hunters of all kinds tend to know just where to go to get their product. A dwarf, explorer, or rogue can own both these items. However, they cannot be equipped at the same time. If they attempt to disarm a trap, the hero must declare before the attempt which item they have decided to use or equip. And these items would be the bag of sand and the thieves' grapnel. Enterprising individuals like the rogue have crafted a very handy pouch they call the sack of spikes. This little bag is filled with sharp spikes that can stop something giving chase in its tracks. The game master will advise when the underground market can be visited. New street market equipment includes the climbing rope, the hot spices, and the tucker box. Alright, what's the hot spices? I have to know. Once per quest, hero may use this item any time during their movement, no action required. If adjacent to a monster, the hero blows hot spices into their face. The monster rolls a combat dice. On a skull result, the monster's squares can be moved through until the game master's next turn. An undead or ethereal monster automatically rolls a white shield result. If a monster rolls a black shield, the hot spices are lost, so you are incapacitating the monster such that heroes can move through the monster's space because he's too busy wiping his nose, rubbing his eyes, and crying. The Elven Magus is our new magic-based hero. Can select any 2 elemental spell sets and replace any spells with an elf spell. Can use any item an elf can, except metal armor, shield, or crossbow. And the Ravarian. After a mighty barbarian becomes a champion of the realm, they may decide to go on a solo journey in the lands of the Shadow Fog and earn the right to be joined to a tribal totem animal, otherwise known in this X-Pack as a were-raven or Ravarian. I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of a monstrous raven form flying through the board. That's actually pretty cool. I'd like to not read the prologue in the interest of time, but also in the interest of you're not going to be ready for this unless you have completed the first 2 expansions. And if you had, I'd rather you read the prologue to your party. Now this section is for the Game Master's eyes only. We have rule clarifications here, waterways, random monsters, Purchasing equipment. The hero must first see if a given underground market item is available at the market. It's not just about having the money to pay for it, it's about seeing if it's in stock. These quests can be played as standalone adventures. Quests 1 through 6 are designed to be played sequentially as a campaign. Mercenaries, including men-at-arms and companions that join the heroes, can be recruited or press-ganged during this campaign. Also, any mercenaries previously recruited can join the heroes on these quests. The maintenance costs for any mercenaries need to be paid between quests as per normal. Alright, and then we get a couple of tile examples, the spikes tile and the open floor tile. We've got new monsters in the form of the Clay Legionnaire, the Legion Assassin, and the Legionnaire's Tree. The tree can't move, has an attack of 2, defense of 4, body of 3, and mind of 2. It can shoot thorns at foes as if it were armed with a crossbow. Sorry about the heater noise in the background, guys. Due to technical issues, it looks like I'm going to have to rely on my phone microphone. Not ideal, but onward. Madness mechanics are explained here, and then the glossary basically of all the monster symbols as per usual from the base game system and expansions that are necessary to have. We have the acknowledgements that HeroQuest Builder, Perchance, and other AI art programs were used to create materials in this expansion. I want to continue encouraging creators to utilize the many free resources out there and CCO and public domain resources in an attempt to avoid the darker implications of using AI programs. The 4th campaign in this series, Shards of the Dead Stone, can be played at any time, but is set immediately after the events in Mage of the Mirror of the Elden Kingdoms, celebrating still broken, some of his people willingly siding with the forces of dread. This expansion includes a new spell set for the wizard and the Rune Blade class. New equipment includes the halberd, the light rapier, and the pickaxe. The pickaxe can actually be used to break apart fallen rock traps after they have been sprung, which I think is pretty cool. The Rune Blade is a new dwarven hero with attack and defense of 2, body and mind of 5 and 4. He can select any 2 spell sets from Runic, Magic, Earth, or Protection, and can use any item an explorer can, except for range weapons. With an additional consideration, this hero must be using an axe or a sword to be able to cast spells, because those are the weapons wherein the runes are drawn, allowing the Rune Blade to have magic powers. This is a really cool distinction and separation from the explorer class. I like that rule adjustment a lot. And the Runic Magic, which includes Ancestress Strike, Bonding Rune, and Runic Stout. This Runic Magic conjures a barrel of Runic Stout beer in a square adjacent to the caster of this spell. What? I mean, at this point, why even go on quests? You can just open up your own tavern. Any model in a square adjacent to the barrel can spend an action to restore up to 1 red die of lost body points. Once 4 red dice have been restored, the barrel will disappear. Any hero other than a dwarf, rune blade, or explorer will suffer 1 mind points worth of damage. All of these things are pretty much the same as in the previous. We've got the Miskatonic rats. Please don't harm the Miskatonic rats. Please leave them to their business. They're not harming anybody. They're just rats who live in the halls of the Miskatonic University and or other properties with the Miskatonic name. They've already got cat in their name. They're already unfortunate. Hashtag justice for rats. The Legion Assassin and the Tree of Flesh are in this expansion as returning monsters. Now, this is a part of this expansion that I can really appreciate. The Catacomb Crawls, first introduced in the Forest of Flesh. Catacomb Crawls allows heroes to go over old ground and dig up some potentially missed loot. Catacomb Crawls are a way to do just that. Designed to allow 1 or more heroes to partake, they revisit old quests and create a whole new experience. The dungeon will no longer have the monsters, graves, or objective that was once in it, but any traps and puzzles remain. If an artifact was there and taken, it's gone. But if the heroes miss the artifact, then it is still there for the taking. This is going to require some note-keeping on the Game Master's part. The Game Master secretly makes 2 rolls to determine what wandering monsters the heroes may encounter. The Wandering Monster and the Wandering Monster type. The Wandering Monster can be any classic monster, including a goblin, say if a 4 is rolled, and then the Wandering Monster type can actually be normal, slow, prepared, stone, spirits, or fire apparitions. In this case, if I rolled 2 4s, then I'm going to have stone goblins. Wandering monsters appear, but do not attack or move until the heroes slay any monster in the quest. Interesting indeed. We've got dungeon looters in this expansion, as well as the Monkey's Paw. If a hero makes use of this item, they will gain 1 madness counter. Once per quest, the hero can re-roll the result of any dice roll that they have made, or the hero can disregard a treasure card they have drawn and draw another card. The new result stands. Once a hero gains 5 madness counters, this item disappears. I like the idea very much of a Monkey's Paw mechanic. Shards of the Dead Stone has artifacts, Or rather, these are the shards of the dead stone. We have the black dead stone, the white dead stone, and the crystal dead stone. These allow you to do a variety of things, such as once per quest if the hero is adjacent to a table or cupboard, and the hero has no madness counters, they can create holy water without any ingredients. And then we go on to quest number 1, the sliced quest, Return to the Mirror. Good grief. This is going to be a heck of a dungeon run. Know for the heroes prior to the first prequel quest starting, if the heroes played Mage of the Mirror with a rogue hero, if the heroes played Mage of the Mirror with an elf hero and no rogue, and if the heroes have not played Mage of the Mirror with an elf or rogue. You've got 3 different possible openings for this. And then you go on a prequel Catacomb crawl. You're actually going to revisit the trial quest 1. That's literally going to be your quest for this, but you have special considerations to make when rebuilding this quest. And then you have an official quest, quest 1, called Another Cult, Another Danger. I actually really like the structure of this. The back of the book says you've got 7 new adventures, and that's correct. That doesn't include the Catacomb crawl of the trial. By contrast, book 3 does not have these Catacomb crawls. It starts immediately on quest 1, a pub, a poison, and a few clues. But you continue to get the multi-page quest notes and clues that populate this quest book series. Indeed, many of the quests do have multiple pages of these quest notes, and I don't want to spoil any of them past what I've already shown here if you decide to pause the video or zoom in or anything like that. It's kind of interesting, different shades here of color on the books. But that is a fairly simple and fairly quick overview of volumes 3 and 4 of Cthulhu Quest. So I want to thank Anthony Hooper for sending me these books for review in this video. I still have my other 2 volumes, and I'm still planning on deep diving into this series one of these years when I get time. But anyway, brave heroes and investigators alike, that's it from me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Comment anything you like down below, and I'll see you in the next exciting adventure. Until then, bye for now.